Hey Collective, it's great to be back with you guys for another Daily Devo. We're still continuing in this series in the book of Acts, following our Calvary reading plan. And we're in Acts chapter 26 today. Paul's on trial in front of Festus and King Agrippa, and that's not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise if you've been reading along. Paul's been on trial a few times, but he's in front of the king, King Agrippa, which is a cool story because King Agrippa's great uncle was Herod Antipas, King Herod Antipas, who was responsible for the trial of Jesus and came face to face with Jesus, which is just crazy. A cool connection there. But I want to ask you guys a question. When was the last time that you told somebody who doesn't believe in Jesus why you believe in Jesus? That's a big question. And if you're listening to this and you're not a Christian, I want to ask, when was the last time somebody who believed in Jesus just simply told you why they believe in Jesus? That's big. And here's the thing, Paul does this in this chapter when he's on trial. He doesn't defend himself. I'm not guilty, you don't hurt me. That's not what he says. Paul just preaches a sermon. He just tells Festus and King Agrippa why he's a Christian. Verses 14 through 18 is just saying what Jesus encountered, what Jesus said when he encountered Paul on the road to Damascus and how it changed his life completely. Paul went from killing Christians to being a Christian and spreading the gospel to the rest of the world. And that's a pretty awesome point. But Festus thinks he's straight up lost his mind. Festus thinks he's lost his mind, and Paul says, I'm not crazy, I promise. And then King Agrippa says, do you think that in such a short time you can persuade me to be a Christian? He thinks it's almost funny. It's mild humor on King Agrippa. But Paul says, and this is the biggest verse that I want you guys to understand, verse 29. Paul says, short time or long, I pray to God that not only you, but all who are listening to me today may become what I am, except for these chains. Paul is saying something big there. Not only to the king of the area that Paul was in is he hoping that he will become a Christian, but anybody who hears that word, that's me today reading this, that's you today reading this. Paul is praying that through what he just said, not only the king would come to know Jesus, but anybody who reads it. And then guess what? They find him not guilty. They go back and they say, there's nothing wrong with this man. This man has done nothing that deserves death or imprisonment. And then King Agrippa said to Festus, this man could have been set free if he had not appealed to Caesar. This is insane. Paul could have gone free, but he chose to be imprisoned so that he could share the gospel with King Agrippa. That's unbelievable. I hope that you guys can see the power of testimony. What is your testimony? Why do you believe in Jesus? And how are you going to share that with people in your life? It's important and it's difficult, but if it wasn't difficult, it wouldn't be important. I hope you guys can catch on to that. It's a little early in the morning. Haven't had my full first cup of coffee yet, but it's awesome being with you guys every single day for these daily devos. I hope that you guys are encouraged, and we'll see you again tomorrow for another one.